Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Karma's Closet. I'm Alicia, and we're back for another Insecure review, season 4, episode 2. Lowkey Distant is the name of this episode, and we jump right into it. Molly and Andrew are doing all right. You know, they're having a little fun in the bedroom, and then we get a scene with Issa and Condola, and they're like trying to figure out, the logistics and everything for this block party, and figuring out where they're gonna do it at. And it seems like they found the location, and Issa like offers to like take her out for drinks or whatnot, and she says she's not available. And I think she was saying that she was gonna be with Lawrence possibly, I'm not sure, but he gets thrown in the mix, and awkwardly, they try to like, Issa tries to throw it off or whatever, and basically makes a joke about, Lawrence dipping his french fries in mayonnaise. And it was super duper awkward. And I was just like, Issa girl, like, are you really ready to like do this shit all the time with her? It's going to be so many awkward moments. But yeah, so they joke it off, and they kept it pushing, and the girls got their costumes on, and they're having a little get together, and it seems like they're putting together like little baggies or whatever, candy. And Molly basically, tells Issa that she hasn't really been there for her and keeping up, so she wants to, find out what's going on with the block party, see what's going on with Issa, and they promise to catch up later about everything that's going on. And then she brings up, Andrew, and feeling like he's not really opening up. And Issa's like, girl, like, are you looking for a problem? Like, it seems like you're looking for a problem. And the girls basically, Tiffany suggests that she just tell him about her feelings. And yeah, just be straightforward. I mean, that's the thing with us girls. Like, we be feeling like all these different ways and overanalyzing things in our minds. And it just draws out the process, or makes it bigger than what it needs to be. Like, girl, just tell him like how you feeling, like straight up. And if he's not feeling that, you'll know right away, instead for like keep dealing with the shit, and then you making up stories in your head like you don't know what's to be true. You got to ask him, just be straightforward. Issa is back at it again with the security dude. And obviously, all right, so last week I was like, okay, this is awkward. It seems awkward between the two, like the scene or whatever, the sex scene, but seems like Issa's enjoying it. I mean, her head was down there on the goddamn floor, and he was getting it in, and he kind of tooted his own horn or whatnot about how he really know how to get it in. And next thing you know, they're under the covers, and he looks, and he's like, oh shit, like the condom, it's not on me. And she's like, like, nigga, what? Okay, I'm not going to be all personal, but that situation has occurred so many times, period. It's a scary feeling. It's a scary feeling. Because for one, it's like, okay, can you possibly get pregnant? Like, where is it at? Like, did it come off like before and it's up there, and then too much. It's just a lot going on. Anyway, she goes in the bathroom, and she got the mirror, and she bending over, child, and she's trying to look for this thing. And then, damn, this shit just drops out onto the goddamn mirror. I can't. That scene was hilarious. Like, it's a real situation. Like, that shit happens a lot. Anyway, and that's what I love about this show. It's just like, just regular shit that be happening to everyday people, ordinary people, us 30-somethings. But that can happen at any age. But you get what I'm saying, like, just normal shit that we all go through, and I just love to see it. But that scene was funny as hell. He sets up a date with Andrew because she's basically, it seems like everybody is like going to the concert, but she actually just wants to have a talk with him, and do a sexy and cute at the house, have a little dinner date, and talk about some things. And then we see Molly at work, and it seems like her and that, I don't know the name of that coworker, but he seems to be an asshole. And I can't remember. I know like last season there was a lot that went down at that firm, so I can't really remember it all. But there's something going on between that coworker of hers, and she tries to like connect with him a little bit in the hallway, and then he's like really short with her and keeps it pushing. So yeah. And then we get a scene with Lawrence and Condola. they out to eat or whatever, and he orders, some mayonnaise on the side. And she chuckles or whatnot, and she basically reveals that her and Issa had this conversation about him, and she told him about the mayonnaise thing, and she's like, oh, I didn't know like that you ran track or whatever. So like now Lawrence is like, wait a minute, like y'all talking about me? And she's like, no, we're not like talking about you, but like some light work, and he's not really feeling it. But yeah, so then it flashes to Lawrence with his boys. Oh my God. That other dude, his friend, not Derek, the other one. He's hilarious. He's always talking shit and just being stupid. Anyway, so Lawrence has this conversation with them about what happened, and he's like, yo, he's not feeling it. He wants Issa to keep his name out her mouth. Like, you should have never hooked up with old girl in the first place. Like, he was like, you should have messed with the caterer. Like, you talked to one of like the friends. And that was a good point. Like, okay, you kind of put yourself in this situation, oh boy, because you didn't have to talk to her. Like, you got to be careful. Like, you don't like who's in the circle. Like, there's, other extensions of friends and other people in the circle that maybe not be that visible when he was with Issa. But like, she was at the baby shower. Like, come on now, that's too close to home if you really don't want to have to deal with no situation like that. And so I was feeling oh boy on that. And then he was like, he doesn't want to feel like he's being petty to Issa and being sensitive to Condola about the whole situation. But basically, he don't like the way it's going down. And okay, I kind of feel like it's a little bit of his fault, but I guess he can try to manage the situation the best way he can. And Issa meet up again. I think the concert is happening the next day, and Issa's talking about putting on her good business-like Converses to meet up with Schoolboy Q at the concert. And I guess she's trying to get him to come to the block party per se. And then Molly rolls up and they all get up and they hug her. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. But then Condola's like, bye. And Issa, Molly's like, bye. And then Issa's like, no, stay. And Molly's like, And I think Condola was kind of getting her drift. And she was like, no. And then super awkward. Okay, another awkward moment. And I guess she says, okay, girl, I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'm going to come back. But Molly was like, I got to talk to you, girl. Like, I got some things like personal. I don't know Condola like that. And I kind of feel her on that. But yeah, so then we see that Issa meets up with Lawrence. And I was like, okay, what is this about? He stops by the house and he's basically like, can you not talk about me to Condola? And he said it in a nice way. Like, I'm not mad at how he did it. It was respectful. But he was like, he really likes her and he doesn't want to mess it up. And I was just like, I still got this hope for, between them two. And he's like, he's feeling her. And I'm like, damn, like, but Issa took it well. I was in my feelings about it. Like, don't be talking about her. Like, anyway, but yeah, Issa was fine. Molly is at home. She got Drew over there. Andrew, not the other Drew, Andrew. And, she's cooking and whatnot and trying to create this vibe. And she's telling him, like, nah, this is like, we're going to chill. We're going to talk. And he's got to, like, okay, whatever. And so they're at the kitchen table and they're eating. And she's showing him, like, I think pictures of her family or whatnot and them at Disney World. And he says that, he's from Gardena. So she's like, well, so you probably been to Disney World a lot as a kid. And he's like, me and my brother really wanted to go, but, because of my sister, that, being out there wasn't really a good situation for her. And it seems like she probably is dealing with or dealt with some type of social anxiety. So I was questioning, like, maybe there's some mental health issues going on within the family, and it is a personal situation. I think that little bit of insight kind of let us see, this is deeper than that, and there's a reason why he's kind of holding back. And you got to be trying to ask, some more questions about, his family and trying to get him to elaborate. And he's like, I'm not really wanting to talk about that right now. And she's like, well, okay. She gets frustrated with him, and she's like, well, I want to, like, I'm trying to get to know you, try to open up with you. Like, this is what this whole thing was about. And you basically, are not willing to do that. And he's like, based off what? Like, this conversation, like the first time, basically. And he kind of had a point, but at the same time, she's like, I want to like, she's like, it's always like jokes and sex basically with us. And, you know, I want to know you more and I want to date someone with some depth. And dude was like, where's this coming from? Is it because of like the label thing? Like, why are you bringing this up? And it's like, come on, Drew, like, it doesn't have to be about that. Like, just because like I'm trying to be in a relationship with you and we're not. So it's just like, I don't see nothing wrong with trying to learn more about somebody. That's what the whole dating period is supposed to be about, is getting to know each other. And even after that, if you're in a relationship or you're married, like it just, people keep evolving. So you have to keep learning each other. And it's like, okay, but in the same sense, on the flip side, I get it that he may be slow to doing that, and that's okay too. But be vocal about that. But I mean, you got to give a little bit of leeway. You know, I just feel like it's only right. So he did end up leaving and say he was going to go to the show. And then we see that Issa's outside the show and she's getting ready to meet up with Condola. And she calls Lawrence and is like, hey, does she know that, you know, you came through and we kind of spoke about this? Like, am I not to talk about this? And he was like, no, no, Issa. And she gets awkward again. And she's like, well, how are you doing? He's like, Issa, it's okay. Let's just hang up. She's a trip. And I also like, they're at the concert or whatever. And I like the fact that Issa always like gets back to her love of music. You know what I mean? Like, I know she's working with the Block Party and doing things community wise, but remember she had her own little raps and stuff that she'd be rapping in the mirror or whatever. So yeah, that was cool. And then Molly, she tries to get in touch with Issa, obviously, to talk about what just went down. But she's like, girl, it's loud in here. And basically, like, I talked Molly and Issa meet up, I guess, the next day. And they're going on a little hike. And, you know, she lets her know what happened with Drew. And, you know, Molly's like, well, it seems like you always have a problem. And, like, sis, like, do you want to be happy? And I was like, okay. Like, last week, we got Molly saying something crazy to Issa. And now, you know, it's backfiring. And well, not backfiring, but now she's giving her a little taste of how she acts. And I like how they check each other. Because I was like, okay, are they about to get into it because of the honesty? You know, but I like the fact that it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, Andrew ended up calling and kind of like putting their conversation on pause. But, you know, I like the fact that they can check each other. I just hope that it doesn't like turn into something later on, like where they're like mad at each other. But I think it's great to have that type of dialogue with your friends. And some people are sensitive and they can't take the criticism, especially when you're friends, because it's like, oh, well, have you always felt this way? And it's like, nah, sis, I'm just noticing some things, and you notice some things about me. Let's just be real about it. And yeah, because even if you don't feel like that you do X, Y, and Z, but everyone around you is saying you do X, Y, and Z, I think you should, you know, take that into consideration, you know. Then we see Andrew calls, and he basically apologizes. And, you know, Molly's like, well, I want to apologize too, you know. And he's like, no, you didn't go too hard, but, you know, I see what you're saying. And basically, I need a little bit of time to open up. And I can appreciate his honesty and just being real about it. Like, you know, and that's, I gotta respect that, you know, and I think she does too. And I think they'll get to a place where they start to share more. So that's good. And I wanted to know, like, is there a certain time frame that needs to pass before you start sharing personal things, like things that happened when you grew up? Like, does it take some time for you to warm up to people and let them know what's up? Or you're an open book? I'm an open book. But there's still things that I won't share, even when I just meet somebody. Like, there's a lot I'm willing to talk about, but there are some things I will pull back and wait till later on, if we get to that point, and let you know about, you know. So let me know what you felt about this episode, and I'll see y'all next week. Like, comment, and subscribe.